Darth Theorist, rise.
What if Palpatine truly cared about Darth Vader? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Palpatine curses and stumbles through the smoke and fires of Mustafar, his guard helping steady him. However, he barely pays them any heed as he continues to search for his apprentice. He can sense the distress and pain that Anakin is in as he ventures deeper into the planet. Finally, the pain that he's been sensing grows so strong that it is impossible to ignore. He turns and looks over at the direction and finally sees him. Anakin is half submerged in the lava pool. His heart stops as he sees the state his apprentice is in, and he nearly loses his balance as the troops steady him. At first, he isn't even sure if the boy is alive, but then he can hear his screaming. As he takes a step down, the guards hesitate.
Sir, are you certain it is wise to rescue him? The general might be too far gone.
Fool, I will not abandon my new apprentice. Rescue him or join him in that fire.
The clones are quickly cowed by these threats and hurry down to help him. They manage to load him into a stretcher and then carry him back to his ship. As he does, Palpatine orders another contingent of Coruscant Guard to track down Senator Amidala and to bring her before him. Meanwhile, Anakin is taken to a medical center where Palpatine spares no expense in treating the boy. Though the damage is extensive, he orders that his skin be treated, that limbs and organs be cloned to replace the damaged parts, anything to ensure Anakin's recovery. While such treatment is incredibly expensive, with the Republic at his heel, he can easily justify the costs by saying he wished to save their greatest hero. Days later, after multiple extensive operations, the medical droids report that Anakin's condition is stable, and he slowly begins to recover and soon wakes up. As he comes to, Palpatine greets him immediately, stepping into his room and bowing.
So, you live, Master Skywalker. Do you recall what happened during Mustafar?
Everything is rather hazy, Master. But after I killed the Separatist Council, someone tried to approach me. I think it was Obi-Wan and Padme. Oh no. Where is she?
Anakin. The senator was taken by Obi-Wan after you fell in battle. I sent soldiers after them to recover her. They had escaped to a nearby medical center for her birth. I believe they were trying to treat her there.
Then we must find them at once. I think I'm strong enough to get back into the fight. We have to save her before Obi-Wan fills her head with more lies.
Oh, my boy. Unfortunately, that will no longer be a problem. But you see, this facility your master brought her to was not as advanced as those on Coruscant. I'm sure they did everything they could, but the senator did not survive.
The words are like a hammer blow to Anakin's chest, shattering his already damaged body. He stares up at the Chancellor, wondering if he is speaking the truth. Palpatine's words are grave, almost deathly so. There is not a hint of deception in them, only compassion from the attempt to comfort his friend. But that doesn't help. Anakin closes his eyes, but this fails to stop the tears from starting to streak down his face. He shakes his head, as if trying to deny this, but it doesn't help. Instead, all he does is clench his fist as raw emotions roil over him, threatening to tear his body apart anew. It isn't just his emotions that stir within him, it is also the Force. Waves of energy flow out of him unchecked, leaving the room shaking and machinery sparking dangerously. To Palpatine's side, a medical table begins to rattle violently, sending tools falling to the ground. A medical droid cries out in alarm, but he is unable to do anything to stop this miniature earthquake or even protecting himself, as another burst sends him flying across the room. Palpatine stumbles and turns to Anakin. He places a hand on the boy's shoulder and gives him a shake of his head, though even he cannot help but feel sympathetic for the boy's plight. For the longest time, he had wished to turn Anakin to the dark side. While that was in part to find the strongest apprentice, another part understood that Anakin was wasted in the Jedi Order. He had seen how they treated him, how they feared the Force powers which he possessed because they could not control it. He wished to turn that power and use it to create his empire, but also for Anakin to reach his full potential.
You are angry, my boy. I understand that. I do not blame you. But that rage is wasted here, and will accomplish nothing. Save it for your training.
My training? What does it matter? I have no wife. What is the point of that training?
You still have your potential and your powers. You have come such a long way these past few days. You've already overcome more challenges than most Jedi have encountered. If given the chance, I know you shall overcome even the greatest obstacles. And when that time comes, I will help you get justice for your fallen.
Justice? What do you mean?
I promised I would teach you to master the art of the dark side, so that you would at last bring peace and stability to the galaxy. I intend to make good on that promise, though I could not help Padme. I will make you so powerful that no one will die.
Anakin stares at his master, unable to speak. He shudders, realizing that without his wife and with Obi-Wan turning against him, the Emperor is the only person he truly has left, his only confidant, the man he trusts with his life, and now he starts to think that such trust is well-founded. As he composes himself, Anakin nods and promises to follow his teachings. Palpatine is pleased to hear this, and as the first course of business, he offers him a new set of armor. Though they were able to reconstruct most of his body, they cannot fully remove the burns, and there are still some after effects. His reflexes are slower than they used to be, and his body is more withered. To compensate for Anakin's loss of agility, Palpatine commissions him a new set of armor. This suit is designed to enhance his strength and durability so that he can remain active and block direct strikes from a lightsaber. Palpatine hopes that this new armor will allow him to take his place as a Jedi hunter. Lastly, he has him now adopt the name Darth Vader. Still, even with these improvements, it is a difficult adjustment for Anakin, as he must change his entire fighting style. Palpatine spars with him every day, trying to gauge his ability. Their lightsabers spark across the training ground every time Palpatine has time for himself. As they duel, he continues to shout instructions to his apprentice, taking notice of his speed and defense. Though the Emperor might have been his friend, he does not withhold criticism. He barks orders, demanding he speed up or press his attack, trying to have him understand his new abilities. He also reminds him of his duty, both to the Emperor and to the new Empire. While Palpatine might be its ruler, however, he doesn't just have the young Jedi focus on changing his fighting style. He also has him harness the dark side. Things that the Jedi once forbade are now fair game for Anakin. He uses tricks and techniques the Jedi Council once frowned upon, harnessing his anger, fighting dirty, and allowing his anger to flow through him. While they do aid his strength, Anakin does not master these abilities overnight, and he still struggles to control himself. Anger and emotion might be encouraged, but Palpatine sees that he so often loses himself in that rage and acts recklessly. His mind tells him to punish Anakin by unleashing a torrent of lightning or leaving him in a tundra without any survival gear, just as his master would have done. His instincts tell him to try a different approach.
You are striking too hard. Put all your power in one blow, and you will leave yourself exhausted. Do you think that anger makes you strong?
I am trying, Master.
Trying what? To figure out ways to get yourself killed. Focus. Anger is only as valuable as the mind that wields it. If you cannot control it, you cannot become a Sith.
What you ask is impossible. You expect me to change who I am overnight.
My boy, the task is only impossible because you have deemed it so. Believe it or not, I think you are closer than you imagine. You have always been closer to the Sith than Jedi. I am not asking you to change who you are, but remove the shackles holding you back.
What are you talking about?
I have known for many years, Lord Vader. You are a man who prizes loyalty and your connections over anything. It is why the Jedi never fully welcomed you in their ranks, because you never saw them as comrades, and they never saw you like that. I aim to change that, because for the first time you need not hide your attachments, but use them.
My attachments? How can I use them like that?
To the Jedi, attachments are the strings that hold you back from becoming one with the Force, but to the Sith, they are your lifeline. The connections are what make you part of the Force, and to reject them is to reject the Force. They are what prevent you from losing yourself completely into your emotions and devolving into a beast. Think of not of Obi-Wan or the woman you lost, but of the family you still have, of what you can reclaim with your powers.
Anakin nods, listening to these words just as Palpatine ignites his lightsaber yet again. He feels the heat from the weapon, even when they stand several feet apart. The former Jedi considers what that means. All that time, he's been thinking of his anger toward Obi-Wan, but for the first time, he lets his thoughts drift off to Padme and the promise she made. They were to have children. Palpatine confirms that he never knew who those children were, but that can also mean that they're still out there somewhere. His kids, the last remnants of Padme. As that image passes through his mind, he feels the lightsaber slashing at him. Yet when the attacks come, Anakin's movements are more fluid and his defense more certain. While he might step back from the attacks, he is not giving ground and keeps Palpatine's attacks at bay. By the end, his defenses are far more solid, and when Anakin strikes back, it actually sends Palpatine reeling. He looks up at his student in surprise, but then begins to smile as he nods in approval.
Perhaps there is still some hope for you after all.
With a few more weeks of training, Anakin's powers are fully refined, and he begins to truly master his technique and begins to turn into Vader fully. But that is not all Palpatine wishes for the former Jedi to learn. Now that the Sith are in the Ascendant, he wishes for his student to understand the complexities of ruling so that he may succeed him when the Emperor dies. Every time Palpatine holds a Senate meeting, he has Vader accompany him, standing as his strong right hand. He has him join him in meetings, expresses his opinions regarding policies, and studies the ancient texts of the old Sith empires. This gives Vader his first true taste of power beyond the Force. Now he is also a general and has worlds to administer. He proves to be an important player, as not only does he have budding experience, but he is still a respected general, and when he gives a sector in the Outer Rim to administer, he helps clean it up. His experience as a former slave allows him to rule with an even hand, something few other corrupt Imperial officers manage. Rather than simply using military force, Vader passes some of the necessary changes and reforms to keep the populations occupied. He personally takes charge of the modernization of the Imperial military in his sector. As the clones are replaced, Vader decides to keep as many in his service as he can. Some are given positions in training academies, but others are settled on worlds with questionable loyalty to give them a permanent standing army loyal to the Empire. But that isn't the only thing on Vader's mind. He never forgets Obi-Wan, nor his children, and with his resources he begins to look for them. His network of informants and the countless probe droids and scouts at his service begin scouring the galaxy for any sign of them. All of these ideas put him into direct conflict with Tarkin, who sees these ideas as delusions and the last lingering threads of his Jedi roots. To him, the only way peace can be achieved in the Empire is through overwhelming military force, and he seeks to stamp out any sign of dissent to show the Empire's power. Yet, Vader recalls how poorly that went for Dooku, who relied on the power of the CIS, but rarely won anyone over. He dismisses that idea and believes Tarkin will be the doom of the Empire, and tries to convince the Emperor to get rid of him. However, Palpatine does no such thing, as he wishes to see which of them truly has the greater strength. He tells Vader that in their empire only the strong shall prevail, and so he must prove the merits of his idea. Soon enough, he gets his chance as the remnants of the CIS regroup in the Outer Rim and begin raising worlds in rebellion. Although most of the galaxy wants nothing more than peace, there are still many systems wary about the rise of the Empire, and few CIS governors who refuse to yield. They seize control of the remaining droid factories and begin producing more droids. They are aided by the Geonosians, who provide information about the Death Star. By now, some begin to realize that they have been deceived and spread rumors of what the Empire hopes to do. However, given their defeat, many perceive their warnings about supposed superweapons as nothing more than propaganda to gain sympathy and legitimize their rebellion. Whatever people believe, the outcome is undeniable, and the Empire sends out its armies to crush these holdouts to prove its legitimacy. Tarkin is quick to take command of most of the armed forces, eager to prove himself and show the validity of his doctrine. The newly created TK series troopers are sent out, being given all the leftover equipment from the clones, as well as the new weapons that they had been developing over the years leading up to this takeover. Vader takes his own forces, a motley force of hand-selected conscripts, veterans whom he's fought alongside during the Clone Wars, and the remnants of the Clone Army. They strike at the regions surrounding Vader's sector to strengthen their position and observe their strategy. He wants to push deeper, and he certainly can. With his training and new enhancements, Vader is a force of nature, his powers swirling around him like a storm and shattering machines without having to use his lightsaber. He's tempted to unleash that full fury on the CIS, but he recalls his training and how Palpatine turned him against the Sith. It wasn't through force. While there certainly was manipulation, there was also understanding. The Emperor won him over by knowing what he wanted and how to obtain it, and that is what Vader seeks to emulate. He continues to advance from planet to planet, but at a slower rate. Though the resources he had would let him launch a lightning campaign, Vader opts for a steadier approach. Before attacking each planet, he sends spies and probes to observe them and analyze the situation. One thing he learned from fighting the Separatists is that everyone has their own agendas, and that is something he can exploit. On every planet, he has his droids study the rival factions, their motivations for rebelling, and what resources they have to offer. When he has that knowledge, he begins to discreetly reach out to those planets, seeking possible allies and depriving the Separatists of whatever resources or assets they hope to obtain from those places. Vader learns many of these planets do not seriously believe in the Separatist agenda and only see it as a means to an end, whether that be addressing corruption or obtaining favorable terms for a deal. Others are motivated by a specific grievance instead of ideology. All of that provides openings for Vader to exploit, as he creates a network of allies from whom he can challenge the Separatists on a planet-by-planet basis. Meanwhile, while Tarkin's shock and awe tactics were initially met with success, things slowly begin to get bogged down the further he presses. Rather than bringing fear, he only hardens his resolve, as whenever he arrives on a planet, all the groups rally around the Separatists. To them, he represents everything they despise about the Empire, and few have any reason to join him. Not that he even bothers to reach out to them. Not only that, but since he doesn't fully grasp the situation on each planet, he simply fights the droids based on numbers, something that plays exactly into the Separatist strengths. Blaster fire scorches the gray skies above Raxus Secundus. The once proud capital of the Separatist Alliance burns again, towers collapsing in sheets of smoke. Tarkin's Star Destroyers hang in orbit, bombarding the surface like a drum, hoping to beat it into submission.
Continue orbital strikes. They'll yield when nothing remains to defend.
Sir, our scouts report heavy civilian casualties. The governor's forces have gone underground. We can't distinguish them from the populace.
Then you burn the populace. Fear will do what our blasters cannot.
For days, his fleet hammers Raxus, yet every bombardment only stiffens the planet's resistance. Droid foundries buried beneath the city continue to churn out new battle droids, while local militias take up arms. Propaganda channels spread footage of Tarkin's strikes across the Outer Rim. With Tarkin having concentrated on capturing the capital, other planets remain unchallenged and threaten his rear. 2 weeks later, in the ruins outside Roxalon, the capital city, Imperial armor burns under acid rain. Mud, smoke, and plasma mingle. Tarkin's walkers grind to a halt before shattered overpasses. Droid artillery pounds their columns from elevated positions.
Advance. Push through the center.
But the center is a trap. Hidden detonators collapse the roads beneath his walkers, and an entire division disappears into flame and wreckage. Tarkin watches in stunned silence as his forces are driven back. The once cowering rebellion has grown teeth. From the stars above, a single Star Destroyer deploys from hyperspace. The bridge lights dim, and through the viewport steps a figure in black. Without fanfare or broadcast, Vader descends in a shuttle to the surface. The storm whips around him, but the soldiers, clone veterans, old comrades of the war, and even CIS soldiers he's recruited fall into step behind him. He surveys the battlefield and doesn't order an immediate attack. Instead, he closes his eyes, extending his senses through the storm. He feels the currents of fear, the hate, the despair, and the fracture lines running beneath both sides. Tarkin's arrogance has united every faction on Raxus, separatists, independents, and even the common labor guilds. They might not like each other, but the thought of being under Tarkin's thumb is enough to leave them putting aside their differences.
Congratulations. You've somehow united all of our foes against us.
He orders the advance to halt, and all forces remain where they are, simply encircling the city, while he sends his spies forward. His spies contact the minor guilds and local defense militias, spreading word that Vader offers a fair term, end hostilities, and he will preserve their industries and keep the old administration. When the main droid army launches its counterattack against Tarkin's besieged forces, Vader is ready. He waits in the ruins north of the capital, where the droids expect an exhausted Imperial retreat. Instead, the night ignites with disciplined volleys and precise artillery strikes. Vader himself leads from the front, cloak whipping behind him as his lightsaber flashes across the battlefield, cutting through legions of droids. His soldiers follow, steady and fearless, their morale anchored by his command. Within hours, the Separatist counterattack collapses. As dawn rises over Raxus, Vader's transports touch down outside the governor's palace. The city is silent, its defenders broken but not annihilated.
You could have burned us, like Tarkin tried.
Why didn't you? Because ash and ruin do not build empires. I will not give you that, but nor will I enslave you like Tarkin intends. You will become subjects of the Empire. You may even remain as governor, and you may keep your own system of governance, but you will answer to the Empire.
Then Raxus surrenders, on condition our people remain free to govern our trade.
Granted. Serve faithfully and your world will prosper. Defy me, and you will not see me again. Only fire.
Then, long live the Empire.
Days later, the rebellion collapses completely. Tarkin returns to Coruscant to deliver his report, but the loss of men, ships, and resources makes his defeat undeniable. In the Imperial Palace, he stands before the Emperor's throne, face pale, voice clipped.
My forces were compromised, but we had managed to destroy most of their army until Lord Vader arrived, where
He secured victory. You have served well, Admiral, but I have seen enough. The Empire shall adopt Lord Vader's doctrine.
Are you relieving me of command, my lord?
I'm reassigning you. Take time to reflect. Perhaps when you return, you will have learned what true strength is.
The dismissal is absolute. Tarkin bows stiffly and departs in silence. In his place is Commander Cody. When the doors close, the Emperor rises from his throne, walking slowly to where Vader stands beside the great window overlooking Coruscant's endless skyline. He does not look like an emperor ordering a subject about, but a proud father welcoming his son home.
You've proven yourself, my boy. You have brought peace where fear failed. Although I must admit, I never doubted you. But now, the entire Empire knows your strength, and your position is secure, just as I had hoped.
Hoped? You organized this?
Not organized, merely pushed some pieces. Consider this your next lesson in ruling. You must always think of how to hit multiple Minocs with one blaster bolt. I removed the last holdouts, established a clear policy moving forward, and weeded out incompetent officers while finding talented ones. More importantly, confirmed beyond the shadow of a doubt that I was right to make you my apprentice. And so, as your master, I offer you a reward.
What kind of reward?
Truth. I told you your children survived. Like you, I have not forgotten them, and I have been searching for them as well. As it turns out, one of them was hidden right under our noses. The senator of Alderaan took the girl in, Bail Organa. She lives there now, under his care. As for your boy, I am not certain.
Vader freezes, his breath deepening beneath his helmet. He looks at the image and can see some of the similarities between her and Padme. The same eyes, the same hair. There is no doubt about it. Now the only question is how to reunite with her. Palpatine must sense this too, because he places a hand on his shoulder. He suggests sending more probes to look for the boy, but Vader does not do that. Instead, he begins to consider Palpatine's words about taking one blaster bolt. He knows if there is another child, it is likely with Obi-Wan, and any attack will only spook the Jedi and force him into hiding. So instead, Anakin decides to come up with another plan. Rather than confront Bail directly, he sends him a message. He tells him that he knows he is hiding his daughter, and that he claims her as his own. If he tries to flee or give her away, he will know and hunt her down and make sure Alderaan pays the price. So instead, he offers an ultimatum. He will personally arrive to collect Leia, and Bail will allow it. No tricks, no deceptions. If Bail agrees, he will drop the matter. The senator recognizes that the situation is dangerous. The Emperor will likely back whatever plans Vader has, and knows there will be no escaping. And even if they do, it will mean a life on the run. There is no other way to safely confront the problem. The skies above Alderaan are clear and blue when the Imperial shuttle descends. Its shadow stretches over the royal courtyard. Senator Bail Organa stands at the base of the landing platform, flanked by his guards. His wife watches from the balcony, holding young Leia close. The shuttle's ramp lowers with a hiss, and Darth Vader steps out, accompanied by a contingent of stormtroopers. The wind tugs at his cape as he surveys the courtyard.
Senator Organa, Lord Vader, Alderaan welcomes you. Save the flattery. I came for what was promised. Leia is under Alderaan's protection. She is innocent of whatever designs the Emperor has. You'll have to go through me to take her. You think protection means ownership? She is mine, by blood, not decree. If you fear for her safety, rest assured she will not be harmed. Then you must understand what that means. A father protects his child, even from himself.
The words hang in the air like thunder. For a long moment, neither moves. Then Bail signals discreetly, and the palace alarms begin to wail. Queen Breha guides Leia through the halls, while an astromech leads a small, cloaked figure to meet them, Obi-Wan Kenobi. She hands her over to him as they try to sneak out. He's older now, his beard streaked with gray, but his presence is steady as ever. He senses the disturbance before hearing it, a pulse of cold anger rippling through the Force. Vader feels him, too. But as he looks up, the Alderaan guards all raise their blasters. Vader's own men prepare their weapons and stand ready, staring down one another. The Dark Lord looks around and then raises his hand as he throws the nearest guards aside. Bail's protectors open fire, turning the courtyard into a firefight and forcing Vader to block these attacks as he fights his way forward to where he senses that familiar presence. He pauses, only to glance at Bail, who dives out of the way.
I warned you, Senator. Deception will not save you. I will deal with you later.
He strides inside and cuts down any guards in his way. Obi-Wan meets him at the entrance of the Great Hall, lightsaber already ignited. The blue blade shimmers against the dark marble.
Anakin, please, don't do this. Anakin Skywalker is dead. You made certain of that. Then I will make sure Darth Vader dies too. I'm sorry, my friend.
His lightsaber flashes and clashes with Vader's. Their blades light up the darkened hallway as their weapons clash 3 times before they press forward. At the last second, the Sith whirls and tries to stab at his former master, but Obi-Wan pushes it aside and uses the Force to slam him against the wall. Obi-Wan follows and tries to drive his lightsaber at his neck, but Vader jerks back, feeling the blade sear the wall where he was standing. When Obi-Wan tries to drag it down and strike at him, he leaps aside and feels the sparks singe his armor. At the last second, he brings his weapon up and catches the attack. Then he moves into his master's defense and slams his elbow against him. Obi-Wan reels back, then leaps aside as Vader flashes at him. He lands on his feet and catches each attack that Vader throws. His style is deliberate and calculated, but as he feels Anakin's attacks, he can sense the anger within his student. And yet, the anger does not boil over. His movements remain focused and determined. It is more than the Jedi have ever managed to teach him. Vader presses harder, each blow heavier than the last, but not wild. They move through the hall like a storm. Statues fall, marble cracks. At last, Vader slams his weapon up in an uppercut that throws Obi-Wan back. He barely manages to land on one knee as Vader stands over him. In a second, it is all over, as his weapon cuts through his neck and ends him. Minutes later, the Great Hall is silent again. Vader finds Leia hiding inside Obi-Wan's ship. As he approaches, he deactivates his lightsaber and forces his emotions back.
Do not fear me, child. You are safe now. Come with me. No harm will come to your world. I promise you that.
And strangely, Leia does not cry. She studies him, and then, slowly, takes his hand. Later, aboard his Star Destroyer, Vader examines Obi-Wan's confiscated ship. The nav computer flickers, still half functional. Among the logged coordinates, one name appears again and again. Tatooine. He stares at it for a long moment, then he orders a course set. It isn't difficult for him to track Obi-Wan's house. There is only one place he could leave Luke, and he doesn't even need to go there personally. Stormtroopers arrive and take the boy. Soon, Vader is reunited with his children. When he returns to Coruscant, the Emperor is waiting.
You have done well, my boy. The last Jedi who could challenge you has fallen, and your family is whole once more.
They will need to be trained.
So train them. Let them be your successors as you were mine. For now, let us enjoy your success. The galaxy knows peace under your command.
The Emperor claps him on the shoulder and smiles as they stare at the window that overlooks their empire. For the first time in years, the storm within him is quiet. The children are safe, his enemies are gone, and the Empire is united. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.